Farm tourism is where tradition meets innovation, transforming simple landscapes into stories of growth, culture, and sustainability. Just like a seed, it holds the potential to cultivate not just crops, but connections and experiences. I am Herthel Diadem and Tihulan together with my partner JV Valiente, and we are going to discuss to you the RA-10-816, also known as the Farm Tourism Development Act of 2016.
Farm Tourism Development Act of 2016, Republic Act Number 10816.
Today, we are excited to guide you through this journey of development. First and foremost, what is farm tourism? Farm tourism is defined as the practice of attracting visitors and tourists to farm areas for educational, recreational, and cultural purposes.
For additional information,
As of 2024, the Department of Tourism has accredited 100 farm tourism sites nationwide. Key farm tourism are spread across the country, including destinations like Davao, Laguna, and La Union, known for their organic and nature-friendly farms. We have also farm tourism sites here in Oriental Mindoro. Some of these are the Gabotero Organic Farm in Bungabong, Infinity Farm in Baco, and Ikias Integrated Farm in Victoria. But our main topic is all about the Republic Act number 10816. What does it say? The Republic Act number 10816, also known as the Farm Tourism Development Act of 2016, is an act promotes farm tourism for sustainable development. This law is consists of 18 sections and no specific chapters. This law is enacted by the President Benigno S. Aquino III on May 16, 2016. To continue, let's discuss the sections that are under this law. Section 1, of course, the short title. This act shall be known as the Farm Tourism Development Act of 2016. The Section 2 is all about the declaration of policy. The state values agriculture by providing food, job, and supporting the country's culture and economy. It sees combining agriculture with tourism as the way to help farmers earn more, support communities, and promote eco-friendly farming. The goal is to make farming sustainable, offer fun farm activities, and encourage healthy living with quality farm products. The state promises to support the growth of farm tourism in the country. As the Section 3, which includes the definition of terms. First, farm tourism. It was already discussed in the first session. Next one is the farm tourism activity. It is the activities on farm that combines education, recreation, and leisure. Third, farm tourism camps. A farm offering hands-on experiences and lessons about rural life. Fourth, farm tourism operator. The person or group managing a farm tourism camp. Fifth, farm tourism practitioner. Someone providing farm tourism activities. And lastly, accreditation, certification that a farm tourism camp meets required standards. Let's proceed to Section 4, the Farm Tourism Strategic Action Plan. The Farm Tourism Strategic Action Plan will guide the development of farm tourism in a country, aligned with the National Tourism Development Plan. It includes areas like investment, market research, accreditation, promotion, research, training, and infrastructure. The plan also defines the role of the government agencies, LGUs, farm tourism operators, tour operators, schools, and other stakeholders in its implementation. The creation of Farm Tourism Development Board. The Farm Tourism Development Board under the Department of Tourism is tasked with promoting and guiding farm tourism development. Its key responsibilities includes farm tourism developing and overseeing the Farm Tourism Strategic Action Plan, Second, raising awareness through the campaigns and marketing. Third, recommending infrastructure and transportation projects for funding. Fourth, conducting research on market trends, innovation, sustainability, and manpower needs. Fifth, forming technical panels or task force for supports. Sixth, collaborating with government agencies, stakeholders, and institutions. And lastly, carrying out the additional activities to support farm tourism growth. Composition. The Farm Tourism Development Board shall be composed of the following. First, the Secretary of DOT or the Department of Tourism as chairperson, Secretary of Department of Agriculture as vice chairperson, Secretary of Department of Trade and Industry, the President of an educational institution providing farm tourism programs to be identified by the DOT and the DA. Letter E, the President of the National Farm Tourism Organization. Letter F, the President of the National Inbound Tour Operators Association. And lastly, the President of the National Federation of Farmers Cooperatives. The DOT Secretary can appoint the Undersecretary for Tourism Development as an alternate, while the DA and DTI Secretaries can designate alternates who are at least Bureau Directors. The action of these alternates will be considered as those of their respective principals. Board Secretariat. The Board Secretariat will be made up of personnel from DOT, DA, and DTI, led by the Director of DOT's Office of Tourism Development, Planning, Research, and Information Management. Section 8. Investment, Promotion, Financing, and Incentives. The Department of Tourism, Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Trade and Industry will set up programs to help farm tourism stakeholders get loans from banks and lenders. Government banks like Land Bank and DBP will offer loans for farm tourism development. Agencies like TIECA and the Department of Investment will provide incentives to attract investors. Farm tourism operators can also benefit from existing incentives. So that will be my part, and the following sections will be discussed by my partner, JB Valiente.
Section 9. Market Research and Information. The DOT and the DA will work together to research farm tourism, including market trends, industry needs, and sustainable farming practices. They will also create a shared information system to help the government make plans for farm tourism development. This system will provide data on farm tourism camps, market research, transportation, and other relevant information to support industry needs. Section 10. Accreditation of farm tourism camps. The DOT and DA will create and enforce standards for accrediting farm tourism camps. Accreditation is voluntary and lasts for 2 years. It can be suspended or revoked if the standards are violated. Section 12. Agriculture and Fishery Research, Development and Extension. The Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and the Bureau of Agricultural Research will include farm tourism needs in their research and share the results with government agencies, farm tourism operators, and educational institutions. The ATI, CDA, SUCs, and other agencies will create programs to help farm tourism operators adapt useful technologies, offer training and support, and strengthen farm tourism cooperatives and organizations. Section 13. Institutional and Human Resource Development. Government agencies, educational institutions, and private groups will create programs to develop skills and support for farm tourism. These include training for operators to meet accreditation standards for tourism, extension services, and technical vocational institutions. Education and training for workers on farming, food safety, hygiene, and hospitality practices. Creating standards for skills and training in farm tourism. Helping LGUs promote and sustain farm tourism camps and activities. Section 14. Infrastructure Support. The DPWH, DOTC, DA, and other agencies will prioritize infrastructure and transportation projects to improve access to farm tourism camps. The DOT and DA will work with them to address the needs of existing and potential camps. Moreover, Section 15 is implementing rules and regulations. The board, in consultation with concerned government agencies, LGUs and their leagues, and farm tourism industry stakeholders, shall issue the implementing rules and regulations within 90 days starting from the effectivity of this Act. Section 16. Repealing Clause. All laws, decrees, executive orders, rules and regulations, and other issuance or parts thereof consistent with the provisions of this Act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 17. Separability Clause. If any part or provision of this Act is declared unconstitutional or invalid, other parts or provisions herein which are not affected thereby shall continue, be in full force and effect. Section 18. Effectivity. This Act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in the Official Gazette or in a nation newspaper of general circulation. In conclusion, the creation of Farm Tourism Development Program is because of the collaboration between the Department of Tourism, or DOT, and the Department of Agriculture, which tasked to do the Farm Tourism Strategic Action Plan. The law encourages the local government unit, or LGUs, to provide incentives and support for the farm tourism operators. The standard of farm tourism programs is to promote environmental awareness and sustainable agriculture. With this, giving a hypothetical example situations illustrating compliance and non-compliance with this Act. Compliance examples. Successful registration. Maria's Farm Tourism registers with the DOT and DA, submitting complete documents and meeting accreditation standards. They receive accreditation and successfully operate their farm tourism business. Environmental sustainability. Green Heaven Farm implements eco-friendly practices such as solar power, organic farming, and waste management. They receive accreditation for prioritizing environmental sustainability. In non-compliance examples, incomplete documents. Huwan's Farm Tourism fails to submit required documents, delaying registration. Accreditation is denied until documents are completed. Environmental violations. Golden Harvest Farm is found polluting nearby water sources. Accreditation is revoked due to non-compliance with environmental standards.